I've got 39.8 miles per gallon over the last 623 miles of driving this car. And that's not because I drive slow. It's because I drive smart. Welcome back. I'm Tedward, and welcome back to my 2022 Honda Civic SI. Today, with rising gas prices approaching $6 a gallon in the United States. I know this is not a shock to anyone in Europe or Australia. They've had high gas prices forever, but for us in America, these prices are brutal. And it's bringing to light the fact that some of our gas-guzzling V8s maybe aren't the best daily drivers. I've just traded in my M3 for this Honda Civic, and the timing just happened to work out really well in this case. But it wasn't exactly the reason I bought this car, but now it's become a really good reason to keep this car because I'm getting 40 miles per gallon. So today, as we drive through Providence, land of insane drivers, I want to talk about how to milk the most out of each gallon of fuel. Because this summer, I'm sure you had lots of road trips plans, things you want to do with your car friends, and sometimes it takes a lot of miles to get to the good roads. But you don't want to spend all that money getting 12 miles per gallon. So, how do we get the most out of our fuel? And driving in a steady state way on the highway is the best way to get fuel economy. But a lot of us, we still need to get to the highway, what we're doing right now. What I'm doing right now, though, is I'm using just a touch of throttle. I'm not going faster than I need to. I'm short shifting a bit, and I'm not putting load on that engine. So if you are driving in the city a lot, what you don't want to be doing is a lot of heavy lifting, that start-stop driving with a lot of throttle, because that's just going to burn through fuel. All right, so now we're getting out to the highway. We want to accelerate. Acceleration is the enemy of good fuel economy. So you want to get up to speed, but you want to apply a reasonable amount of throttle so you're getting into the correct power band. Lugging your engine is not going to help you, because if I'm trying to get all my acceleration, but I'm short shifting super low and I'm doing all my acceleration in like that 1 to 2,500 RPM range, not a good place to be. You still want to get the revs up, but especially with like a turbo engine, you don't necessarily want to spool it. So at some point, this is a 1.5 liter turbo engine. Even if I'm not applying load, having the revs up at like 4,000 or 5,000 RPM is just going to inherently spool that turbo, because I've got all those exhaust gases. The exhaust gases are what's spinning that turbine and making that intake pressure. So now that we're out here in Rhode Island, where everyone just lives in the left lane, because that's where everybody lives here. I think they've all just moved in and they camp in the left lane, and that's the deal. Now we want to try to milk as much as we can, because we just only got 21.1 miles per gallon getting onto the highway. Not good. This is a 40 mile per gallon car, and we're not getting there. So over the course of our highway drive, we're going to want to build that back up. What did you see me just do? I approached a car that was going slower, and I moved over to the left lane. What did you see me not do? I did not match his speed. I did not hit the brakes before I passed. It's very important to keep the flow. Keep the car moving at the desired speed. Every time you hit the brakes, you're transferring kinetic energy, that motion that you've just bought, all that kinetic energy with the fuel you put in the car. And then every time you turn that into heat by hitting the brakes, it's just wasted. It's just completely wasted. So brakes are the enemy. If you find yourself hitting the brakes on the highway a lot, that's a great indication that you're wasting energy and turning fuel into dissipated heat into your brakes. Okay, so I've made my pass. I'm moving back to the right lane. And what you're noticing is I'm holding a reasonable speed. I'm holding about 75 miles per hour. So another thing that you probably know is the faster you go, the less fuel economy you get, the more fuel you're using. This is because your car is a brick moving through fluid. Air is a fluid. I don't know where your level of physics are, but because air is a fluid, moving through it at speed, the faster you go, the more air you have to push, essentially. And that is not a linear process, because the effects of drag in a fluid like air is squared, not linear. So the faster you go, the more intense pushing that air becomes, which is why it's so insane when a car like a Koenigsegg can approach like 300 miles per hour. This is why there's like this insane barrier and you become asymptotic to that curve, because getting beyond 250 miles an hour requires so much more power. See, car coming in, I'm not touching the brakes, I'm lifting off the throttle. The longer you can spend off throttle, the less fuel you're going to use, because essentially your car uses no fuel off throttle. When you're on the overrun, now I'm going to speed up. I'm not going to floor it. I'm just going to apply a little bit of throttle. The second I feel it dip into boost, I'm going to pull back a little bit, because what I don't want to do is just build a ton of boost. I want to get enough torque that I can accelerate, but I don't want to make so much that I'm just sucking down fuel that I don't need for a very small 2 or 3 miles per hour. Okay, we're in a corner. I'm just gonna hang on to my speed, because here's the deal. I don't wanna slow down for things that I don't have to slow down for. People always unnecessarily slow down for like on-ramps, off-ramps, long sweeping corners. If you're going, see, I'm going 80 miles an hour, I'm off throttle, I'm using essentially no fuel. We can watch that, building my fuel economy here. And now that I've got open road, I can really enjoy just dialing in where I need to be. So in this car, usually about 76, 77 miles an hour does the trick. I like to use the cruise control to hold that. However, the cruise control in this car is that sort of adaptive cruise control. So it's going to approach the car in front of me and then it's going to slow down. This is actually not the most efficient way to deal with things, because like I said, I don't want to change my speed. I want to maintain my speed and simply pass the people. So hopefully this home commercial exercise equipment truck is going to move back to the right. You're going to move back to the right. He's got a mass plate. I believe in him. I believe in him. See, now I've lost fuel economy because people don't know how to drive. They don't know how to use the road. So I've got to dip back into that throttle, and instead of maintaining my speed, I have to waste fuel for you. Everyone out here is just trying to waste your fuel. You need to adapt by looking ahead. If you're not looking ahead, you're going to waste fuel because you're going to approach people and have to slow down. The most efficient way to have passed him would have been to just go straight back to the right lane. However, social driving etiquette tells me that I should allow him the opportunity to do the right thing and move back to the right lane. But if I'm really hypermiling, screw him. Just get in the right lane. Sorry, guys. Right here, I'm just going to get off throttle. Oh, look at this. No blinker, just going into that lane. Very Rhode Island move. I'm going to pass this guy. Maintain my speed. I've got a green light. Okay, it's turned yellow. I'm off throttle, off throttle, off throttle. I got to get into the brakes. There's no chance of me, skimming through this. It's red now. But if I'm seeing a light that I'm like, I'm probably not going to make it, I shouldn't be accelerating toward that light. Don't accelerate towards stop signs either. This was something when I was a kid. My sister's 2 years older than me. She would always accelerate toward a red light or toward a stop sign. And it was just a complete waste of fuel. It made no sense. All right, we're off. There's a red light up there because we're looking ahead. We're spatially aware. I don't need to really get into the throttle. I can just coast here now because there's absolutely no benefit. There's no benefit of accelerating toward a red light. Now it's green. We're going to accelerate. We're not going to accelerate faster than the car in front of us because then we're going to have to hit the brakes. And we know hitting the brakes is inefficient. But we're going to keep it in the power band. If we're going downhill, it means that we can actually keep the RPMs lower because I'm going to need even less load on this engine to get the speed I want. Approaching a red light, I'm not going to continue accelerating. I'm just going to stay off throttle, let the car essentially use no fuel. There's basically no fuel going through those injectors right now as I approach this light, just keeping itself running. Now we've got some downhill. We're gonna make up some fuel economy here. So I'm just gonna use engine braking because while I'm off throttle, essentially no fuel is going through these injectors. And this is where I'm making up distance without using any fuel. That's how you do it. Now, as long as none of these cars have to come to a complete stop to take a left-hand turn into a neighborhood, I'm gonna be able to ride this hill and just milk out all this fuel economy. If this guy was not in front of me, the most efficient way down this hill, because, what goes down must go up, right? Or what goes up must come down. I'm going to have to go up at the end of this, but I want to gain some speed. I really should be gaining a little speed so that way I don't even have to use throttle to get up the hill at the end of this. But alas, we have speed limits, and I guess a responsible 8th gen Honda Civic Si driver not trying to get any speeding tickets. But unfortunately, speed limits actually restrict us from getting the best fuel economy because if you have a downhill with a 30 mile per hour speed limit and then it goes all the way back up, What you really should be able to do is coast down that at about 50, 60 miles an hour and then ride that momentum up the hill. But alas, safety first. So the other thing that you can use if you have long red lights, auto start stop. I do not like auto start stop. I think it's insanely silly, and I think it wears things on the car, but that's just from a mechanical standpoint. From a practical standpoint, it makes perfect sense not to run your vehicle when you're not moving. Why should I be idling here, burning fuel, and every kind of 30 seconds I'm sitting here idling, I'm ticking away down my MPGs. Never tailgate. The closer you drive to the car in front of you, the more susceptible you are to be forced to drive their speed. You have less elasticity in your speed. So if this car suddenly slowed down, I have to slow down with them. Whereas right there, I had enough of a distance that I could actually slow down without using much braking. I was able to slow down by kind of getting off throttle and just grazing the brakes a little bit. But the more distance you give yourself, the less impact their speed variation is going to have on you, and the less fuel you're going to have to use when you speed back up with them. See, look, there's this guy. I've got enough space. I didn't touch my brakes at all. He's on the brakes. I'm not on my brakes. What you don't want to be is the person who hypermiles their Prius, right? You don't want to be the person who's going 32 miles per hour everywhere you go because, hey, at 32 miles per hour, I'm doing pretty good. Everything's great. And I'm getting my fuel economy. You still need to go with the flow of traffic. So sacrifices must be made. We're not here to just hypermile the cars. We're just here to get the most out of it within reason. I know that my turn is coming up. I'm not going to accelerate toward it. I'm going to start slowing down early so that way I can use this momentum to safely make this turn at a reasonable speed without ever touching my brakes. I was just off the throttle, basically using no fuel that entire time. And now, essentially, the rest of my drive is downhill. And I'm going to make the most of it by just coasting in a reasonable gear and using essentially no fuel. Anytime I have a little bit of an uphill, I'm just going to use a touch of throttle to try to maintain it. But look, fluctuate your speed accordingly. If you just hold exactly 30 miles per hour, you're going to end up having to use a bunch of throttle to get back up the hill. But if you allow yourself to go a little bit faster down the hill, it's going to take away the pressure from these uphills. So that's the deal. It's pretty simple. Drive smoothly. Don't use too much throttle. Keep distance from the cars in front of you, but more importantly, watch your surroundings. Keep an eye out a couple steps ahead, because if you're on the highway and you keep having to slow down for a car in front of you when you have an open lane next to you to make a very safe pass, don't slow down. Just make the pass. Just go around that car at the constant speed you're at. Time lights accordingly if you can. Don't approach stop signs and red lights accelerating. Just do it off throttle because you're not going to go anywhere. And when you do hit a green light and you're at a dead stop, you do not have to floor it. You don't have to launch the car. I know it's fun. Of course it's fun. We all like launching cars. It's good to do once in a while. But on your day-to-day commute, if you're just trying to get the most out of your car, you're trying to get that incredible fuel economy from the thing that you've just purchased, just take it easy. Enjoy the ride. Be smooth. And if anything, I hope I've just taught you that you can drive the speed limit, you can drive 75 miles per hour on the highway and still get excellent fuel economy if you're clever about it. You don't have to go 50 in a 65 or 25 in a 35 to get good fuel economy. You can drive at a reasonable rate of speed and still milk it. So right now, for the piece de resistance, the best downhill in the game, I'm gonna get over 37 miles per gallon on the rest of my drive. Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. You've been asking me how I'm managing to get 40 miles per gallon. I've got 39.8 miles per gallon over the last 623 miles of driving this car. And that's not because I drive slow. It's because I drive smart. And so can you. Don't forget to respect the drive. Good luck saving money out there. And I'll see you in the next one. God, I wish this stop sign wasn't here. If I could just coast right through this, I could save so much fuel.